think that some of the stuff, the personal stuff, is unnecessary. And I think some people have made a huge mistake on this app by sharing a lot of personal information with each other. And it gets crazy when people want to bring it up. The reality is that when I look across the stage, everyone on this stage, well, most of this stage, I'll just say most of the stage, is guilty of breaking just some basic rules that would make this app better. And then the offenders play the victims then go on the offense. I'm just simply asking the question, can we set up rules of engagement that allow for families to be off limits? Could we set up rules of engagement where first of all, if the drama is 4 years old, I think we should get over some of that stuff. Dude, some of the drama on this app has lasted longer than World War II. And I think that it's time for us to think about, can we have conversations with each other, with people that we like, people that we dislike, and be honest, but without trying to harm them. I think the doxing thing needs to come to an end. I think the including people's families, honestly, if you've learned about somebody's spouse, brother, sister, mother, father, whatever it is, let's just leave them out of it. Let's just stop talking about the family. I don't think that's a bad rule. And I think all it would take is for us to all agree that, that would make the conversation better. And that also means to process the fact that, well, some of these people have already done this, and maybe I need my pound of flesh. The way that forgiveness works, and you don't have to completely forgive, you just have to simply say, okay, from this moment forward, I'm going to vow to do better. And again, I would be lying if I said I didn't find the drama intriguing. When Brad goes on his rants, I find myself, and I've shared this with Brad, I find myself in a position where I have to moderate the room. Some of the things that he says I do think are cringe, and other things that he says I think are fucking hilarious. And you have to balance.
They are. I always make popcorn when Brad starts his shit.
You have to balance these things, and all I'm saying is, wouldn't it be grand if Brad had the flexibility to go on an epic Brad rant and just have just some bumpers up, just like bumper bowling, where we simply just say, okay, no gutter balls. You can't talk about family. And I don't know what that full set of rules should look like. All I can say is some of the things that people say are super out of pocket, and the kind of things that wouldn't be said in real life, because if it was said in real life, people would be flipping tables and there'd be fights going on. We shouldn't be talking to people on this app in a way that we wouldn't be prepared to talk face to face.
Yeah, well, can I just say something? Can I just say one thing? There are a lot of people on this application who can't stand in their own truth. There are a lot of other people who are just a persona. They're the way that they are on here is not who they are in their real everyday lives. So, I mean, it's sometimes a genuine person who's battling this alter ego persona type bullshit, and they're not even really, nothing can be dealt with, because when that person logs off, they go back into their everyday problematic life probably, and they have to sit with themselves and their truth. And some people get uncomfortable with that, so that's why they come here and they create these wonderful personas that make them who they're really not. So if we could, find people who are willing to sit in their truth, that would be great. And if hurt people can please heal, that would be awesome.
Let me ask John Kitover a question. Future Congressman Kitover, can you tell us what you think the Dow would say about the way that we've been treating each other on this app?
Yeah, I would just say stop thinking and your problems. The more you think, the more you speak, the further from the truth you're going to get. So, this isn't like a meditation course. I think, this is entertainment, and people come here for dopamine creation and stirring the pot, and the listeners also partake in that. But when people start crying, See, I believe this is a roast house. It's a roast. It's a roast show. It's a barbecue party, and the problem with slinging insults at scale is, in retrospect, if you listen to that recording, you would say, "Hmm, I'm also roasting myself because I'm making myself, into something I would probably not want to be, which could be like a Jekyll Hyde, Mister Jekyll, Mister Hyde kind of thing, where." It's better to remain the doctor as opposed to becoming Frankenstein. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, let's talk about standing in truth, guys. You know who it is. It's your good friend Diogenes, and Brad owes me $1,000. I would love for him to stand on that truth. Would he like some proof of my Marine Corps enlistment, or how should we arrange that? Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's stand on truth. Let's be about the things we say. Let's do the things we say we're going to do. We got an audience in the room. And I think people want to know, Bradley. Are you going to pay your debts, Bradley?
I thought you were going to do that. I thought you were going to show up at my door with a gun and get that over the back. Didn't that happen?
Hold on, guys. Nope, hold on. Everyone meet up. I think this is a perfect time. We were talking about some new rules that might need to be adopted, but let's talk about the old rules, shall we? I'll read them off to you here in a second. Well, if the app stops glitching, I will.
Yeah, you go ahead and look those up.
Hold on.
Let's just establish one thing.
You're gonna shut your mouth. You're gonna shut your mouth.
Oh, please, don't do this.
Well, no, I'm going to do this. I just said that I was going to read the rules, and you're interrupting. So, if this app will stop glitching, I can move you to the audience. I'll bring you back up, but I want to read the rules. I think rules are important. It's funny that the libertarian is the one that always needs to talk about the rules. It's amazing. Okay, so rule number 1, no threats of violence. I've heard some of those from some of you over time. No doxing. I've heard a lot of that over time. In fact, right here in this room. Stay on topic. Right now, the topic is pretty meta, so we'll be okay. Keep your share brief. That's an important one. Do not interrupt speakers. Especially mods. That's one that Diogenes is going to struggle with mightily, but we'll give him another chance. We'll get him up here. Mods may interject when appropriate. The N and K words are forbidden on stage and in chat. If anybody has a problem with that, they can discuss it privately with me. I have my reasons. Number 8, don't spam the chat. Number 9, do not bring drama here from other rooms. I would say that we're all violating that rule, including myself. So rule number 9, we have been violating the fuck out of that rule. English only, that's a pretty easy one to enforce. Just don't speak other languages. Any objection to the rules? No objection to the rules. Okay, great. Should we add to the rules?
Yes. I think there should be a rule for the hurt people if they can heal first, and that would be great.
Well, I think that before people are offended, they should declare, who hurt them, and they should confess that, hey, I'm hurt. There's an exercise that therapists walk people through where they use "I feel" statements. I feel, and
I love those.
Yeah, the "I feel" statements would sound something like, Brad, when you went after Shirley, I felt that was a little over the top, even for you. And I feel that you could do better than that, and I feel that you know that you could do better than that. See, this is the use of "I feel" statements. What do you guys think of those?
I think it was a great one. I'll give an example too. Brad, I think when you were going after Shirley, I feel that she may have been a little entertained by that. I feel that she also may have felt like, wow, I'm recognized today. But that's just me. So, is that good?
I feel that Shirley didn't like what she got when she tried to interject earlier, and that the biggest, I guess that's probably the most what she felt in the last, 50, 60, 75 years.
got an abundance of evidence at this point that you just run your mouth. So I thought it was great to come in here to see you running your mouth again. And there's a moderator who's talking about, or who's, continuing a conversation about people doing what they say they're going to do, being the person they are in real life on the application. And I agree with that. I think that we should take our internet personas and, as much as practical, combine them with the people we are in real life. And I think, Brad, you could start by paying your debts. You said I wasn't in the military. You said you'd pay me $1,000 if I could prove I was, and I did. And now you're running away from that, Brad. Do you want to tell the people? Is it because you're too poor? I did suggest that if you would apologize and admit that you lied, I would forgive the debt, because I am magnanimous. Okay, Bradley, do you have anything to say?
Okay, so again, I thought that, I get it. You're broke, you're homeless, you're dating a very obese Muslim girl on the app, and you think somehow or another you're a winner. Keegan, has to wipe your ass for you, and you've got your 2 followers. I get that, and you need money. I get it. You have issues in that department. You're I don't know what's going on. I guess child support is expensive, even for you. I guess you've been broke. You've asked me for $1,000. And you even threatened to come to my door with a firearm and say, I'll get you to back down. I'm still waiting for that. I told you where I was. I even offered you a place to meet up. You know what you did? You went into your own little private room and couched. Then you cried to Sig. Then you cried to KK. Then you cried to Roger. Then you cried to literally everybody on the app. Thinking somehow or another they were going to convince me or anybody that they really wanted to take your side. And I get it that you and Keegan jerk each other off with the fat Muslim cowgirl, the camel jockey, the one that's up there. The one that's really hates Jews along with you guys, right? Your little dumb bullshit. You're immature. You're insignificant. You get that significant since your mama stopped breastfeeding you. And you really don't have any purpose in life. So, I get it. You've got the $20 haircut. You're just working up the courage to check on you about to pull the triggers. But, quite frankly, dude, if you think I owe you, show up. If you're not going to show up and you're just going to spend 3 years on the app crying that you need money and begging for it, I mean, open a GoFundMe, maybe have your Islamic little jihad wannabe or fucking do a GoFundMe OnlyFans. I mean, maybe she can show you a camel licking. I think that should be great. Maybe you can show how gays can get better sex because you're going to Keegan peck you from behind. I mean, that's great. We know the truth. You guys aren't getting it.
Okay. I'm gonna jump in real quick. So, this is a good example of breaking some of the rules. We're talking about drama from other rooms, so we should consider not doing that. Also, let's not we move on. First of all, let me ask you this. Diogenes, do you have a contract with Brother?
Yes.
You do. Can you post that?
No, it's a verbal contract. I have multiple witnesses to the verbal contract. He has satisfied all of the requirements under multiple state and federal laws that constitute a contract. There was a consideration. He offered $1,000 if I would provide proof that I did serve in the military. I did provide that. I can provide that again. And therefore, he owes me what he promised. He promised to pay $1,000.
Do we have any lawyers in the room? Do we have any lawyers in the room? Where's Abby when you need her? I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. All I can say is that, somebody that says, hey, I bet the moon is made out of cheese, and then somebody, proves that the moon is made out of cheese. I don't know if you're going to be able to collect on that. If I'm being honest, I think if you guys were to go into a courtroom, I don't think you would get paid. That would be my guess. But I wish Abby was here to settle this for us.
Well, I can see
The thing, Mojo, is that it doesn't matter. Ultimately, the question is not what will a court decide. The question is, what will the public decide, and how is it that we're going to conduct ourselves? Are we going to platform and waste our time listening to people who run their mouth? You heard just the verbal diarrhea there a moment ago. Brad will say anything and everything. And so, you have to take that into consideration and understand that generally in our real lives, we don't spend time with people who will say anything because we know that they're lying. Nothing that they think has any real value because they'll say anything. You don't know what they actually believe. You don't know what they'll actually stand for. The bottom line is a man should do what he says he's going to do. And he said he was going to pay $1,000. He was so certain. He was offered every single possible opportunity to back out. And many people can testify to that fact. He's been given multiple opportunities to simply admit, I was wrong. You proved it. I got in over my head. I don't want to pay you the money. But instead of doing that, he threatens violence. He makes insults, crass and unnecessary insults. And at the end of the day, he owes me the money. And I'm not going to let it go. I will never let it go. Well, he wanted to run his mouth. And I've paid my debts.
Hold on. Listen. The problem here in this room is that many of the people weren't present to know what's going on. You and Brad, maybe there's some witnesses here. It sounds like this Dio guy, who is a questionable character, is on your side. All I can say is that whatever that arrangement was, it didn't happen here. That is bringing drama from outside of this room into this room. That would be a violation of rule number 9.
Well, I would like to understand the inception that's happening here, right? Because now that I made it clear. Hold on, you're not supposed to interrupt the speaker. I'm speaking. Excuse me.
Hold on. I did address him, and then he misspoke. And I need to post this as the 11th rule that basically everyone decides that it's their turn to speak once Hakima begins to speak. I don't know what this fucking phenomenon is all about. The only time he's ever uninterrupted been able to speak is when we did a reading room, which we'll be doing another one today. Reading from a book. John, can you tell about the book that we're reading?
Yeah, we're reading from the ancient Chinese classic, The Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, which means the Great Way or the Book of Changes. It's a psychological thriller on wisdom, politics, governance. You're gonna love it. I hope you'll join us in the mouth.
There we go. All right, nice shout out for our book reading room. Look, I'll just say this. I don't want to adjudicate this, and I don't think it's my place because it happened in a different room. So, Diogenes, if you want to file a suit against Brad, you go do that. If you want to open a room and complain about it, you can go do that. But in this room, we're not going to bring yesterday's drama to today's room. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know how you feel, Mojo. And I have to say, obviously, I am greatly disappointed that you're going to cuck out on this because I hope I won't ever catch you again talking about wanting there to be some realistic behavior. You sit here in a room with Brad for hours. He runs his mouth. This is not yesterday's business. This is today's business. A man who says he's going to do a thing and doesn't do it is a very poor man indeed. Cocksucker, kick me from the room and be done with it. Platform the coward. Make all the excuses you like. You owe me money, bitch. You are a whiny little crybaby. Run your mouth. Run your mouth. That's all you can do.
You don't know what it's fine, bro.
Hold on. Can I just say?
Context, please. Sorry.
Yes, but before you do, I just want to encourage you, if there's any mental health professionals here, please raise your hand. I'd love to bring you to the stage. I don't necessarily need you to diagnose the problem that we just heard, but I'd like to personally understand it a little bit better so I can know how to better deal with certain people because I want to meet them where they're at. KK, go ahead.
Yes, sorry. I couldn't speak. I was in the gym. I wanted to give context for what the bet was and how it evolved into this misunderstanding. There was a back and forth argument. It was talking about, I think, something military. Diogenes says that he served. Brad didn't believe him. And Diogenes went on. He was like, yes, I know how that operation would work, etc. I was a Marine, which I love my Marines. He's like, yeah, but you wouldn't know this. He's like, yeah, I served with SEAL Team 6. I did operations with SEAL Team 6 in this Asian country. And I'm thinking, Okay, that doesn't make sense. So it then got misconstrued that Diogenes was on an active mission with SEAL Team 6, Brad called Cap, and then it turned out to be. I'm sorry, who are you? Who's talking?
You're lying. You have some of the same things.
Excuse me.
Wait, hold on. Who was the spineless little prick that interrupted somebody violating the precious rule number 5 of this house? Didn't JB? JB did the same thing. Let's see. Okay, I'm moving you down. Listen, moderator privilege. Rule number 11, the moderator is always right. Go ahead, KK.
Okay, well, first of all, Keegan, you need to stop calling Brad a pedo. I put the link that where you did it in the chat. It's very problematic to spread those type of lies. So that was the misunderstanding. So it wasn't that Brad was saying he never served as a Marine, because I told Brad from what he shared in that room, I asked him very specific questions, understanding how Westpacks work, which is the Marine Expeditionary Group that travels along, and you're either going to be on a Westpac or on one side of the world or the other. I know how it operates and whatever. If you're a Marine working on a ship, and he said, "Well, yes, I would know because I work for SEAL Team 6." Brad's like, "KK, how is that possible?" I'm like, "Well, they could have been on the ship, but they're not going to like have him operate with them, because usually when they do those operations, they practice it ahead of time, and it doesn't involve the Marines on there. Actually, they might do intel like ahead of time, but like not in the actual operation." So that's where it got misconstrued, as far as Diogenes feeling like Brad was saying he was never a Marine. I told Brad Diogenes was a Marine, and Brad's like, "Well, he was saying that he was doing this special operations with SEAL Team 6. I said, "No, he's mistaken. They don't operate that capacity. What would probably happen is and it did come out that he was on a new ship, that maybe SEAL Team 6 was on, sleeping on the ship while they're in between missions or whatever, or on their way to." Understanding how the Navy Navy SEALs operate, and how a MU operates, and how Marines operate, they don't bloody those lines. So that's where Brad said, "No, you did not operate this thing," and Diogenes thought he was saying, "No, you were saying that I wasn't a Marine," which I told Brad over and over again. He was a Marine. I asked him questions. I was there for it, and that's where it turned into this long, drawn out like miscommunication. That's what I wanted to share with the actual context.
Okay. So here's what I've heard. I've heard that there was a claim made. There was maybe some feeling that the claim was dishonest, and there was perhaps a wager made, and there's some confusion and disagreement over what the wager was. I think if that went into a courtroom without proper documentation of what the wager was, I think that Diogenes would probably lose. I'm no judge. I'm no prosecutor. I'm certainly not a defense attorney. All I can say is that it sounds like it would be a losing case for Diogenes. So we can move on. Should we settle other things? I want to just bring it back. This is why we're getting together. I think the tensions on this app have boiled over, and I think we could do better. I think in this season of Clubhouse, we should all strive to get along better, communicate with each other better. And that doesn't mean we can't have fun and poke fun and talk shit. I'm certainly not going to stop doing that. I'm going to continue to talk my shit. I'm just saying that maybe we could decide what we're going to talk shit over. Like, if somebody has an idea that I disagree with, maybe I can go in hard on that. Rather than talking about people's families, rather than talking about, personal information and trying to dox people, I think those types of things are harmful. I don't think that they have a place on this app. And I also understand that people have kept score and these things have happened in the past. I don't have a fucking time machine, and to my understanding, none of you do either. So we can't go back and fix any of the things in the past. All we can do is decide that we want to be better moving forward, and I propose that we start today.
So I'm just saying, jump in as something.
That is such a great idea.
Again, I'll just say this. There's one person I do owe an apology to, and I'll get to that in a minute. But like I said, for all the fanboys of Thick Ass and Diogenes and all these other ones, show up. Like, you guys threatened it multiple times. Show up and see. But I think you guys, after 3 years, have proven you're cowards. There is a person that I owe a apology to. His name is Sig. I did wreck one of his rooms. I went after a bucktooth prognosticator of old women who was very much Christians save the world, Christians do all this stuff, and he's a very religious fellow who likes to hold the hands of old ladies trying to get their fortunes, and probably a little wonky in the age limit things, as we're well aware of, like various other organizations. So I called him out, and I did wreck his room, and Sig had to remove me, and I do owe Sig an apology. So there you go, Roger. There's your win for the day. I will apologize to Sig because I acted like an asshole, and that's it. As far as on stage, yeah, I'm good. Outside of you and maybe Steve, Big D, I don't owe anybody an apology. I think I'm good.
Well, that was boring as fuck.
No, we got some progress. Look, we have to take the baby steps. That was good. He offered an apology. I'm not sure if Sig has accepted. I have to look in the chat. It's all good, Brad. Still love you, bro. Salute with an American flag. This is what I'm talking about. We can bury grievances, and I don't want to pull any of these grievances up. I'm not going to dig up old dirt. All I have to say that is if it's on somebody's heart to apologize the way that Brad just did, this would be a perfect time to do it. Nobody, huh? All right. Okay, go back to killing each other.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Steve, welcome to the room.
Hi, I'm back. Hello, everybody.
Do you have any drama on this app, Steve? Any haters? Any detractors?
Yes, I do have haters and detractors, but they're generally speaking 95%. There are other rooms that I go into. Occasionally, they come into my rooms on the weekend, but when they do, they're very respectful because I'm known as running my rooms with an iron fist. I never put a restriction on content, but when it comes to timelines and people speaking over each other, everybody knows I won't put up with that shit, and I'll clamp down on it within 5 seconds so they don't get away with it.
Well, there you go, ladies. If you want to get fisted, you can go to Steve's room.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I just threw up.
Steve, you may have to put like an anchor rope on you. I'm just gonna let you know you're gonna need you're gonna need crampons. You're gonna need. I mean, some of these women, man, I'm telling you, it's like throwing a Mack truck down a hallway. It's huge.
I was in here earlier about an hour ago after all the drama occurred, and I came in. I just asked if I could speak, and I said I had only been here for 5 minutes, and I simply asked a question. Does Roger know what's going on? And then I spoke for about 5 minutes. I started to compare what was going on here to what happens in my room. I laid down a couple of facts in that one of the problems that I saw, because the issue of problems was brought up, is that the leaders in this house, in the MUF, don't always trust each other and don't always believe each other. And then I compared it to my mod squad on the weekends in that all of us have our cell phones. We don't air our dirty laundry in public, and we have a private text chat, not a clubhouse chat, but a text chat. And one person responded negatively. That person is here now. I won't say who it is. He or she can respond. And his response was...
Can you give us a clue?
Yes, that person is here on stage. Let me just verify. not going to. Let me see if that person is still here. Yep, that person is still here. And
do they live west or east of the Mississippi?
Rather than say, well, yeah, Steve, that's true, or no, Steve, that's not true, the comment came back, well, you're just doing a comparison and you're basically publicizing how wonderful you are. And what I didn't say at that time, but what I will say now, is that person I see in my room basically every weekend and doesn't come to the stage, but sits in the audience and simply listens. So obviously he enjoys the way I run my rooms, yet in response to that comment, he basically was saying, well, you're just doing a PR for your room and you should stop doing it.
That's what you were doing, Steve.
And now I'll be happy to say it was Hakima.
Wow. Can I just say, Hakima really ticked me off this week. I put up with all of his bullshit. Everything from flat Earth to making a truth claim that the black people are indigenous to the United States of America. I put up with all of that nonsense. But yesterday, when he told me that he could swim faster than me, I'm calling cap. We have a contest. It's coming up. It's going to be in Chicago. We're all going to party in Chicago. We're going to join the Lady Hawk, a.k.a. the Amistad. We're going to have some boat drinks, and we're going to have a race.
It's called the Beer Can Race every Wednesday. I hope you'll join us. It's going to be a big clown house blowout summer soiree. All the girls are in bikinis.
And I'll just say this, a lot of rooms are popular because people yell, scream, insult, and talk over each other, and that's fine. And I'm the first one to say that I'm attracted to those rooms occasionally, but I would never run my room that way. But I'm the first one to admit I do frequent those rooms because I like to get that poison out once in a while, and I enjoy it. But I would never, ever run my room that way.
Can I ask you a question, Steve? Like, what do me having been going to your room has to do with me calling you out about you trying to say that the leaders of this house don't get along and how great your mod squad is? Me going to your room still know what has nothing to do with that claim that I made. So I don't know why you bring it up. It's kind of silly of you. But
my statement.
May I finish? Can you
sure.
The house? Thank you, sir. So my statement about what you were doing is exactly what you were doing, and you should grow up a little bit.
My statement that the leaders in this house don't all trust each other and don't all believe each other was made directly 2 minutes after the mods in this in the room were specifically saying, well, I want to do and say stuff, but the other leaders don't believe me. It was in response to directly that.
You heard one person say that about another mod, and them mods are not the leaders of the house. The leader of the house is Roger. And so I'm not sure who
Roger is the admin. Roger is the admin.
Can you follow the fucking rules, Steve? Can you follow the fucking rules?
If you're gonna lie, I'm gonna call you out on it. If you're gonna lie, I'm gonna call you out.
I said Roger is the leader of the house.
He's not the leader of the house. He's the admin. Is he or is he not the admin?
Who the leader then, right?
Is he or is he not the admin?
Who the leader, Steve?
I have no fucking idea, but I know Roger is the admin.
Why the fuck you make the statement for then? Why the fuck you make the statement about the leaders of the house if you don't know who the fuck the leaders are?
Because it was said 2 minutes before I made my statement.
You sound goofy.
Okay, so if we're gonna get specific here, go look at the membership here. Just want to make sure. Okay, what is the label I have here? So I created the house, and that gives me admin privileges. So I'm the creator of the house. The other admins of the house are Kelly, who is on vacation right now. The driver, my personal driver, he's not a good driver, but Dr. J, and then Ro, You guys might know him. He's the Australian guy with the nice hair. And then we have leaders in the House, which are Scarlett Noke, one of the most intriguing, lovely ladies of the app. We have Dippity, as I like to call her. We have Nye, and we have Ann Hero, because everyone needs a hero. And let me just say that I think Nye is probably the most neutral person that this app has ever produced. So when we have disputes, I would say just get Nye's opinion about things, because she's not going to sugarcoat shit. She's going to tell people exactly how it is. And what I've appreciated is every time I've ever seen drama in these houses, I can go to Nye and say, what happened? And she will give me a story that sounds like half of the truth that I got from one side and the other half of the truth that I got from the other side. It's amazing how she has the complete story. It's amazing.
And when I was making my comments in the room, and correct me if I'm wrong, Scarlett, who Roger just said was a leader in the House, was in the upper left. She was the super mod. There were also two other women. I think one of them, I could be wrong, is one of the two that Roger mentioned. And they were saying, at least one of them, if not two, were saying, well, I want to do things, or I say things, but other people, other leaders don't believe me, which is why I made the comment. So, Akima, as much as I respect what you're saying, and I've known you for years, your remarks to me, in my humble opinion, are completely unfounded.
That's just silly abuse. But I'm not. This is a petty little back and forth. It's not even worth going back. You might enjoy this, but you can have it.
I wasn't here when the drama occurred. I admitted I showed up after it occurred when I presume Scarlett took over when I came in. She was the super mod. I waited a couple of minutes. I was called on, and I admittedly said I've only been here for 5 minutes, but this is what I think based on what I've heard.
Yeah, 5 minutes make blanket statements about how she's been in for 5 minutes. Yeah, make it make sense. But you can have this childish conversation. You got it.
Guys, I have to make a decision here, and it's tough with all this infighting and the events of earlier, but I'm about to eat lunch, and I need to have other moderators. Now, the thing I have to think about here with other moderators is I have to think, who do they have blocked, and what vendettas do they have, and are they going to move people? Are they going to weaponize this ability to be a mod? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand, Nye, are you there?
I'm here, yep.
If you don't mind, it'll take me about 30 minutes to complete my lunch. I'm not having Mexican food today, so it'll be a little quicker. And I'm going to go ahead and mod Nye, and if you accept, do you accept?
Sure, yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. I will be on the stage, but I will be unable to participate. Everyone, please respect Nye. I will say this. If people get unruly and I hear about it later, I am not going to be happy. You're going to get a very cranky version of Mojo. Nye, you have it. I'll be back in about 30 minutes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I did not participate in the poll at the top. Does Brad owe money? Because I don't know anything about that. But if y'all want to vote, there it is. And other than that, I prefer not to talk about the drama unless there are grievances that people still need to air out. The mic is open. Please keep it peaceful. Shout out to John. I love being part of your PTR social experiment. Keegan, I saw you coming off mic. Go ahead, Keegan.
Yeah, so Nye, as part of the leadership for the House, as Mojo told us that you are, do you guys hold different standards towards different speakers? Because I've heard multiple people interrupt, but when I interrupted, I was kicked out.
What are you talking about?
Listen, I'm just asking the rules of the room, which I did not know there were rules until, of course, Mojo read it out loud, and then I read them as well. And I said, okay, number 5 is you should not interrupt speakers. But Steve Denny said, well, I can't hear someone lie. I must speak the truth. I thought I was doing the same, of course, when KK came up and lied about the bet that I was in the room for, and that's not what happened. And most people that try to agree. But also I saw JB interrupted, and again, these people were not kicked out. I was kicked out.
When did I interrupt?
You interrupted Diogenes when he was was going on his little rant. And then again, Steve interrupted Akeem. So my question is there different standards for different speakers?
Well, yes, there is. I'm sorry. I've got my mouth full, but I want to answer this one directly. Yes, there is. We prioritize kindness, we prioritize intelligence, and we prioritize beauty. Thank you.
Are you saying that I'm not beautiful, Mojo?
You're probably on the bottom curve of all three.
I think it's also important to note, Keegan, first of all, when you were in the room earlier talking to Brad, I didn't even realize that was you. I recognized the voice, but I couldn't figure out who it was until later on someone said Theo was Keegan. I think it's also important to note that not just in this room, but any room you go into, if there's multiple moderators, everybody's opinion is their own. If people have grievances with other people on the app, it doesn't mean that all the mods feel the same way about that individual. And that kind of concerns me because of some of the messages I get in the back end about why are you there and why do you talk to this person and this, that, and the other. And so I think we all should remember that, especially the room earlier when it got crazy. There was, a lot of insults hurled at the women on the stage, like we're all a monolith. And, I just hope going forward that we can appreciate the fact that everybody's opinion is their own opinion. And if one speaker may have an issue if one mod has an issue with certain speakers, the rest of us, it's right, Sid, we don't all feel the same way. And notice, you guys, if you are in rooms that I'm modded in, when folks on the stage start talking shit about some of you nuts, I don't say a word. There's only been one person that I have verbally stated their name. I'm not going to say it in this room. I've said it too many times. This person who's harassed me on this app. And other than that, I don't have problems with anybody, especially people who hit me up in the back end saying this person is a racist and that and the other. I don't actually give an F, right? So let's move on. Peace in the Middle East. If we're allowed to say that, maybe not. I take that back. I don't want no smoke. The mic is open. Does anybody else have any grievances they want to air out?
I have a grievance with you.
Not you and me, JB. You're my e-boo, but go ahead. I'm listening.
I got no grievances. I think you're the greatest person on this app, sincerely.
Yeah, I don't have any grievances with you, JB. I absolutely adore JB, and I've told JB that one of the things I like about him is sometimes he'll pop in a room, curse somebody out, and then just bounce. I mean, if that's not leading character energy, I don't know what is. Shout out to all the leading characters. Go ahead, Holly.
No, I just came off mic to laugh because I'm driving. I can't see my emoji.
I will say that I think Brad taught everyone a very important lesson today. That there's a lot of information that has been passed between each other on this app, and if you were to just listen to the sound clips or the sound bites of the most toxic communication, not from today, but I'm talking over the 5 years, and you were just to listen to it, you could still forget it and come to peace. But it is a roast app in many ways. It's like the Johnny Carson roast, or the Dean Martin roast. If you think that you are not guilty or worthy of being roasted, well, then you're definitely worthy of being roasted. But again, in the process of roasting others, you can roast yourself sometimes. And I believe that self-deprecation is an important tool to essentially reflect, but it shows intelligence if you're willing to be roasted and let it go, and it shows intelligence if you're willing to roast other people, and it's really intelligent if you're willing to roast yourself, because this is all just short-term dopamine, for a long-term problem, which is wisdom. And that's why I am encouraging you to all join us after Roger's delicious lunch in the book club, where in the Muff we will continue reading an ancient Chinese philosophical classic called the Tao Te Ching, written by Lao Tzu over 2,800 or 2,300 years ago. And I hope that team building experience, reading what's called a book or an external hard drive instead of having meaningless, endless, heated discourse, a book might be just what you're looking for.
And we read some of it yesterday, and it was a great read. I encourage those with tensions and grief, and you kind of maybe, I say this very delicately, not directed to anybody in the room, but if you find yourself navigating this app and you're stuck on stupid at times, come to the reading today. I think you will find it quite healing. JB, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just want to let you know that Sig and I are now could be taking applications and vet potential husbands for you.
Oh, thank you. I definitely trust Sig and JB's opinion about who the perfect guy for me should be. Shout out to Ebo. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to these potentials. Now, hold on. I got to say something to Brad. Brad, are you there? Because I had Mojo said something earlier, and it got me to thinking, and I'm like, okay. So let me say something to Brad. When Mojo was like, what did he say? When he was using examples about people saying, I feel. So Brad, I apologize to you because I said twice some variation of I feel. You should not argue with women, and perhaps I should not have said that, right? I think because of the opinion I have of you, which is, I like Brad. It was probably not my place to tell a man how he shouldn't have, dole out his energy on Clubhouse. So I apologize for telling you, Brad, don't argue with women because it's not a good look. Because clearly, even though I felt like I should say that, in hindsight, perhaps not. So I apologize, sir.
You didn't owe me an apology, and I'm not a cuddly guy. I don't really fucking care. Like, you've not offended me or pissed me off, and if we have clashed, it's there. I've clashed with Roger. I've clashed with a lot of people. I don't fucking care. It's not memorable. Except for, like, in the cases of, like, the Keegans of the world. The guys that want to get up there and call women hoes. I mean, I can't wait to hear the stories about how, cuckheld and cuckolds are, all of a sudden fighting for masculinity in the world as their wives are getting, like, choked on dick. So, I mean, I have no problem going low with anybody. Like I said, Diogenes, again, and nothing. He's broke, clearly. He said he was going to come up, he was going to bring a gun, and he was going to face me. I said, all right, here's my door. Come up. I offered a place where he could land, both in Minnesota and fucking Texas. And the motherfucker still didn't show up. And he was going to bring his posse, quote, his crew, to come at me. Still didn't show up. I don't fucking care. Because you know why? You guys are pussies and you're afraid. You don't have spines. Let's see. Going forward, Monica's in the end. Don't really fucking care. Because I was actually friends with Ann. I was nice to Ann. I was the one who used to protect Ann. I was the one that offered my house, my land, to offer to build her a safe space when people were trying to, quote, kidnap and rape her kid on this app, or at least threatening her, or at least that was the story that was relayed to me. And then she decided to use that as a mockery because I offered her a safe haven. She's never apologized for that. She doubled down on it, and then she made a room about it to gain clout and her feelings. And then that fucking Oompa Loompa next to her, Monica, who's just a racist piece of shit that's just like a fucking trailer trash Roseanne Barr version.
Okay, wait, no low blows, Brad.
Oh, okay, I won't go low. I will not go as low as her fupa. I promise that. I will stop going low like that. So again, like I did that. I went and actually, you know what? There was a woman on this app who was getting stalked. The guy broke into her house. There was a couple women. I showed up at their doors. I put one of my knives through the hood of his fucking car and said, if you came at her again, you were going to feel it. I made another one so scared he pissed himself and he left the woman alone. And so I have no problem doing that. I've done it multiple times. I've helped out people financially. Diogenes asked for $1,000. I know he's broke, but you know what? I don't really feel like giving him $1,000. He wants to show up and try to take it. Go ahead. But you know what? I have helped people out to the tunes of thousands of dollars, like tens of thousands of dollars on this app. I paid off entire mortgages, rental leases, fixed cars, paid fucking utilities, paid college loans, paid medical bills. In fact, I owe KK a fucking shit ton of money because I'm supposed to match every dollar that I give out to that. But I will never give one dime, one penny to Diogenes because he's a cuck, like Keegan. These two are cucks. So I'll just play that game back and forth and just laugh. And so who else wants to go? And I said, I don't need the bubble wrap. Everybody else needs the bubble wrap for me. So that should tell you that if you're all afraid and you're all nervous and you all think, oh, I don't want my feelings hurt, maybe you shouldn't throw stones from your glass fucking houses. Or I should say, your cavernous vaginas, since that seems to be the majority of what you feckless feelers seem to have.
Thank you, Brad, for your very poetic submission. Scarlett? I see Scarlett. Monica's off mic. I don't know if you want to speak, Monica. Go ahead. I think Monica's on a speaking strike, but she might be at work.
Thank you.
But go ahead. Guys, this is not an official rule. This is just a NIE rule. Not that my rules matter in the house, because the official rules matter. But I almost feel like a subcategory should be no white-on-white violence in the muff. Please. Brad, thank you. Mic is open.
No, wait. Did you say that again? I did not understand. You said no white-on-white violence?
No white-on-white violence.
So Anne has stated that she is not white because she made up some genealogical trait that she's now Lebanese. So she no longer considers herself white. So it's very fine to attack the walking hate crime between her legs and her actions.
Okay, wait. Guys, I'm sorry why I think Brad is hilarious. And I know I shouldn't laugh at things he says because it's outrageous. Brad, you're hilarious. Okay. Next, go ahead, Keegan. I see you're off mic. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, my name was mentioned, and so I do want to address something, which is that Bradley does like to act very stoic on the set, right? I'm here to protect the women, and that's noble of him, of course. He says that, listen, when people were attacking and threatening Anne's children, he came on her defense because, of course, Brad thinks that threatening children is a bad thing on the set. Did he say that he was going to rape my daughter, who is 2.5 years old? Yes, but that doesn't matter because Brad loves children. Does he love them a little bit too much, in my opinion? Maybe, based off of his own words. But it's just really interesting. Again, the stoicism that Brad decides to display, but then when he goes in other rooms, of course, he does not